Well, it's been a long, strange year for many American workers. Currently, many workplaces are inviting workers back into the office or workplace after months of working from home. And this is prompting some tricky etiquette questions. Joining me live is etiquette and culture expert Sharon Schweitzer. Sharon, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. So, people finally returning to the workplace, do we need to resist the impulse to shake hands or hug people, even hold doors open for people?
Yes, it is best to resist that impulse, even though we want to do that. Since March of 2020, we have had to social distance, and there are some people who are going to want to continue to do that. So the best thing you can do is ask. Is it all right if I shake your hand? Do you prefer a virtual handshake? May I open this door for you?
Good ideas there. And many workers are still juggling family commitments related to COVID-19. Is it okay to ask for some flexibility or a hybrid approach to working from your boss?
Well, what I recommend people do is read carefully. Many times the employer has already issued guidance or an email or posted something. So follow that protocol, follow that guidance from the employer. And if they encourage employees to initiate a discussion with HR or their supervisor, absolutely do that. Be proactive, but first make sure you read carefully whatever your organization has issued.
And this is a tricky one. We are all still focused on health and safety. Is it ever okay to ask a coworker, hey, have you been vaccinated? And even can a boss even legally ask that question?
Okay, let me answer each of those separately. Number one, is it all right to ask a colleague or a coworker? People are split on that. The experts are falling on both sides of the spectrum on that. Some people say that it is acceptable. That doesn't mean it's appropriate to do that. So you're going to do it. I recommend you use the sandwich method. That means layer it. Layer it with, oh, I've gotten my vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated. I'm so happy I was able to do that. And then wait and see how they're going to reply. They may not say anything. They may not want to comment. And you need to really be careful because some people can't get a vaccine because of an underlying health condition.
That
and
is
so
true.
You don't necessarily want to pry into that. Now, that's for a colleague. If they do say, oh, yes, I've been vaccinated, then, and I want to talk about it, how did you get it? Did you go, to a specific source? We're still having people in the family and they want to initiate a discussion, that's one thing. If they don't respond, then you better leave it alone. Number two, the boss. EEOC has issued guidance that says a boss may ask an employee whether they have been vaccinated, but it gets tricky from there, okay? Whether they can probe any further and ask other questions may open up some doors that the employer doesn't want to open. So legal counsel is the best person to ask whether you want to ask additional questions, whether you want to probe any further. So each organization is going to have to ask their own legal counsel.
Yes, no doubt. Now, it's always good to be a good listener. You have something called an 80-20 rule. What is that?
Yes, that means you want to listen 80% of the time. 15% of the time you want to be asking questions to your counterpart, and 5% of the time you're probably going to be responding to questions they ask. And when you do this, this makes you a fascinating individual. It makes the conversation all about the other person. And of course, everyone likes to hear themselves talk.
Right. And the best way to win over friends that I've found is try and limit the word I from your vocabulary, or me. Well, Sharon, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much. Our thanks to Sharon, and you can find more about her corporate etiquette training at protocolwww.com. We have a link at KFOR.com/links. Some of us brought in our newly